Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a good old-fashioned shop critique. It's been a while since I've done one of these and uploaded it on the channel, so enjoy everyone. This might be quite long, so grab yourself a beverage of some sort and probably a snack. So Lyco Crafter, this is Kirsty Allen's shop. She has enrolled in the Handmade Bosses Success Academy, so she got offered a chance to have a shop critique, which Kirsty did, so that is amazing. So, welcome to Lyco Crafter, spooky jewellery and handcrafted goods. So, straight away, I get the impression that this is kind of gothic, really sort of dark jewellery, if that makes sense, which is great because obviously that is Kirsty's target market. It's great that I get that impression straight off the bat. Now, one thing I will say, and what I'll do with this shop critique is that I'll try and do it in a kind of order. I might, because of the way Etsy is, I might be like jumping around a bit. But straight off the bat, something that is becoming more and more of a kind of problem on Etsy is that if you don't have Etsy Plus, which is I believe like $10 a month, but you get $5 worth of ad credit, and like $3 worth of something else. So it actually kind of works out at like $2 to $3 a month when you take that stuff off. I do have a video on my channel going through Etsy Plus and the pros and cons and everything like that. But the problem is that more and more people have Etsy Plus, so it kind of makes shops that doesn't have Etsy Plus look a little bit odd. It kind of makes them look a little bit like they're on like an old version of Etsy or something like that. So first of all, I would seriously consider, especially for your shop, Kirsty. Now, when I'm looking at your shop, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, Kirsty's tribe is like gothic women. That's kind of how I am looking. I mean, I'm not in your target market, so forgive me if that's wrong. But that is kind of how I see your shop. That's that's the impression that I am getting. But the thing with that is that when you have a micro niche like that, obviously jewelry is a very saturated market, and I should know because I'm in that market as well. But when you are trying to get into this micro niche, it's really important, and I think this is going to be your number one priority, is you have to build a stellar brand. You have to get people to look at your brand and go, oh my goodness, like where have you been my entire life? You have to build this really, really stellar brand that will attract your target market and therefore build a tribe. Now there are a load of, I do have a jewellery shop that I do one-to-one coaching with, Jackie, she's amazing. And she is in jewellery, and what she's done is that she's actually managed to build this micro niche. We've done it. She's taken the course, and now we're doing one-to-one coaching, and she's actually built that herself. So it does go to show that even if you think you're being really specific with your niche, it always pays to niche down some more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at your banner. So I would definitely recommend maybe popping some work into your banner. In this banner, I want to be seeing model shots. I want to be seeing the type of people that wear your jewellery. A lot of gothic women, they take pride in the kind of clothes that they wear, and everything emanates this gothic vibe. So you really want to be including that in your word, Steph. What's that word? Oh my god, the banner. There we go. The banner at the top of your Etsy shop. You really want to be including that. And I think as well, it would be definitely be worth, and I will go into this later on, you exploring the possibility of getting some modelled shots, whether that is via a professional photographer, or whether that is via like brand rep Facebook groups where you send them your items in exchange for them taking modelled photography. Or option 3 is that whenever you can, you get a friend, you kind of dress them up as your target market or something like that, and you take pictures of them wearing your items. But yeah, that's kind of I haven't even really looked at your shop all that much. I really wanted to try a different approach and to go into your shop straight off the bat So I think that, to be honest with you, that's going to be your main area to focus on, is building this really, really close-knit tribe of people that maybe, you know, and this isn't just of your brand, but, you know, even with my brand as well, I focus on people who who are probably in jobs that they don't like, are probably doing things day to day that are a little bit boring, a little bit dull, and they want to take precious moments with them throughout that day. And they sometimes feel like a little bit of an outcast because they've been through this event, or they've been through it, and whether it's a traumatic event or not is neither here nor there. They've been through this event, they want to take it with them throughout their lives, and they often feel like a little bit of outcasts. But because I build a tribe around my jewellery, it makes them feel like they belong, and I think that is going to be something really important for your brand, Kirsty. So, Lyco Crafter. The name is fine, there's nothing wrong with the name. I would say that I do often suggest that within your name you state what you sell, and even if you can do it really good, you can kind of tell people the kind of, so like the niche of product that you sell. Now, Lyco could be a word, obviously. I think you are also German as well, so that could be a word that I don't know for, you know, gothic, dark jewellery, that kind of thing. But you definitely want to build a brand name that is short, sweet, that gets your brand across, that gets your, you know, what you sell and attracts your tribe in, right? The same with your logo. Now, I will say that this logo and this logo here is different, and I will also say that the only problem with your logo is that the purple background and everything is fab, but I'm finding it quite hard to read. So what I suggest usually is to create like a really plain all black version or all white version of your logo, because when you are looking at your packaging, and you might change it over time, it's always easier to have a logo that's all one colour, so that you're not going to have that issue with packaging, stickers, business cards, whatever. And also it makes it a little bit more clear. So I would probably do a little bit of work on your logo. I'd probably have like Lyco and then Crafter underneath, maybe like with a moon incorporated in there. I mean, you could also do Lyco and then the C of the Crafter be the moon, so that you're kind of incorporating that into your name. But you are in the course, Kirsty, so I would 100%, and the branding module in there is amazing, so I would definitely recommend going through that branding module. Just very quickly, you've got 100 sales, which is fantastic. This little area here is crawled and indexed by Google, so you want to be making sure that you are using really important keywords in this sentence here. So it could be that spooky jewellery and handcrafted goods, no one is doing a search on Google for handcrafted goods when they're looking for your item. They're probably looking for like steampunk jewellery, gothic jewellery, something like that. So just turn your attention to this little bit here. Your shop announcement. So you got free delivery for UK and EU orders over £25. That's fine. I would recommend doing a little bit more of a something with this, but that will be covered in the course. I'm not going to be going into it in this shop critique, but I would be looking at, especially for your target market, I'd be looking at building a brand, and I would be looking at using this area to promote things like your email list and tribe building platforms, if that makes sense. I think that the number of items you've got is fab. I think that the categories are great as well. I would probably maybe, depending on on where you want to go with your items and the collections you want to launch, I would probably go for having like an animal category, a anatomy and like human body category, botanical, etc., because the only trouble is that if you're adding really unusual stuff, it's going to be a bit hard to create another category if you're already using them. So that would be something that I would perhaps look at. Also, these areas are crawled by Etsy, so you do want to be sure to keyword your categories as well. But just another little something just to consider. Now, your pricing, it is showing up a little bit wonky for me. I know that you can, within the pricing area in Etsy, you can round it up for geographical areas that have different pricing. So, for example, if you use the round up feature, this would be £20, this would be £14, etc., etc. It just makes it a little bit easier than this weird £16.79. It's a very small thing, but it does make certain people's brain itch, if that makes sense. If you've got someone that is looking at this pricing, it's going to make them uncomfortable because it's not a pricing they are used to seeing, okay? Now, one other very, very quick thing while I'm talking about your pricing is that I see that you do eligible orders ship free, which is great. Now, I'm just going to switch over to Etsy and I'm going to show you something that may open your eyes just a little bit. So I'm on Etsy, right? So if I was going to type in leaf necklace, let's say something really quite broad, right? So you can see that there's 93,739 results, right? Well, here's the thing, is that people, when they use filters, they go over here, right? And the top two filters here, apart from categories, is free delivery and on sale, okay? So if I clicked free delivery, which a lot of people do, and you don't deliver for free where I am, now you might do it domestically. I'm obviously based in the UK, so I'm not quite sure how this will work for you. But you know what? You can see that straight away, like well over half of the results, so we've gone from like 95,000 to like 23,000, have been omitted. And the same can be said for if you are doing the free delivery, the on sale filter, is that you can go onto here and again, straight away, it cuts it down to 16,000 results. And what a lot of people will do is that they'll actually click both. So if you're not offering both, you will be omitted from the search results. And there we go. We've only got 5,000 results here. So Kirsty, I am aware that you are offering free delivery for eligible orders, which should mean that you do still get shown up for this search. Let me just do this. However, as you can see, there are a lot more free delivery badges than eligible orders. So I would consider shipping it for free if you can. The only reason I'm saying this is because if you take your shipping price, add it to the product price, which is something I've done and it did make a big difference to me, then you will get a naturally higher conversion rate because people aren't looking at the shipping cost and going, I'll leave that until later on. I won't do that now, okay? So something to consider is also to run a sale. So again, you can put your prices up and run a 10% off sale, and then you will be included in this search here. So I hope that makes sense. It's a nice little trick which doesn't take a lot of effort, which means that you are being shown for the most amount of search results, okay? So I just thought I would say that very, very quickly whilst I was here. So let's have a little look. Let's have a little nosy at your reviews. So they're all good. They're all good. They're all good so far. You've got a good amount of reviews, which is always good. Fabulous. Yeah, I mean, as a buyer, I wouldn't go any further than this, to be honest. So even if you've got a review from like 3-4 years ago, I wouldn't really worry about that. Fab. Okay, so you've got all 5-star reviews. So that is a good thing. All I was going to say is that if you do get a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, it's always best to reach out to the customer. If you can't sort it out, respond to the review in a professional manner and always learn from that review. So that was just something I was going to say quickly. Now, something I am going to do very quickly now is I'm going to have a look at your SEO. Now, I understand that you're using the longer titles and that's absolutely fab. However, something I have noticed is because the items that you sell in a nutshell are quite a saturated market, I wouldn't recommend using single word tags. And here's the thing. A lot of people think that using single word tags is going to make them a winner because it can combine with like any other word in the title, which technically is true, okay? I'm not going to say it's not true because technically it is true. However, you will get sorted and shown for that search result, but because you're not using an exact match, you'll probably be shown on page like 585, which is obviously not what we want. So with SEO, I would always do your SEO research, which you are in the course, so you will be shown exactly how the search engine works visually, and I will explain to you how to find keywords and everything like that. But just for the purpose of this shop critique is this. You've got to make sure that you are using long tail keyword phrases that convert well for you, which naturally if you are using long tail keyword phrases that accurately describe what you are trying to sell and is in a language and a way that your target market would be using to search for this particular item, then you should be fine. Your conversion rate for that long tail keyword phrase should be absolutely fine, right? But you've got to make sure that you use exact matches if it is something that is ranking really, really well. So let's say that you go onto eRank or whatever, and you find like a really good keyword phrase that not a lot of people are using, and you're like, yes, this is awesome. You've got to front load that, and you've got to put it in the first, quarter really of your title. So let's have a look at your tags. Woodland necklace, pagan necklace. Now here's the thing, right? I am aware that Etsy does say that you don't have to match your titles and your tags from your titles. However, I have done a little experiment over the past sort of 6 months or so, and listings where I am matching my tags to my title, they are ranking better. And I've tried to contact Etsy about this. They're not all that helpful, or rather, the person that I spoke to wasn't that helpful. Maybe I wasn't explaining myself right, but anyway. And personally, when I've done this experiment, it has ranked better. Now, I'm wondering if that's because Etsy is viewing listings that have matching titles and matching tags as a stronger match for that keyword phrase, as opposed to listings that are using some words in their title and then changing them for their tags, if that makes sense. Now, don't quote me on this. Obviously, I'm just using my shop now currently as an experimentation platform, but that is what I have found. So it kind of seems that Etsy is using a really kind of old school way to rank listings. That they're looking at whether something is an exact match for a phrase and how many times it's mentioned in the listing. Now, as we know, descriptions, strictly speaking, are not ranked on Etsy. However, Google does crawl the first sort of part of your description, so it's always worth kind of scattering the main keywords within your description. Now, I did notice that in your form that you filled out, you had a, I can't remember what the exact conversion rate was, but it was like a 1.6% conversion rate. I think we could do better with that. So what's happening is that people are coming to your listings and they're not buying, okay? So something that I kind of tend to have a look at is I tend to have a look at the descriptions. Now, with your descriptions, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, right, is that they think that people do not read descriptions, and they're wrong, okay? People do read descriptions. How many times have you, honestly, hand on heart, gone onto eBay, gone onto Amazon, or even Etsy, and purchased something straight off the bat without really looking at the description? How many times have you honestly done that? Because I don't think a lot of you have. If it's like a tube of toothpaste, then you might do. But if it's something like a necklace or a gift for someone or something like that, you're not going to buy it without at least glancing at the description first, okay? So in the course, Kirsty, I do teach you how to write your descriptions kind of in the mindset of them being like a 24/7 salesman for you, or a salesperson that is going to be selling these items, really communicating the value of your item and what pain point it solves for your customer, literally whilst you sleep. So I'm not going to go too far into this because obviously we do go over it in the course, but I definitely think that this could be removed because obviously you've got the sizes and everything here. To be honest, I would use your description to sell the item, right? This is the whole thing, and I think this is where a lot of people fall down on Etsy, is this. People come to Etsy because they want a handcrafted good, okay? They want a handcrafted item. And the thing is with that is that people naturally who are more into the handmade market, who go to like craft fairs, who do everything like that, they are more interested in the story behind the brand, okay? They're more interested in the value that this item has. Because, you know, you are right? Is that people could quite easily go to like Primark or Target or Walmart and buy themselves a leaf necklace, okay? But the fact of it is that they want to have a handcrafted necklace that has a story behind it. And especially right now, over the last 4 or 5 years, I've seen a massive resurgence of, the small businesses, the one-man bands. People want to fill their lives with items that are not mass-produced, with items that are special to them. And I think this is where you might be falling down, is that you need to communicate the value of your item. And there are a few ways you can do this. So you can use the description to really outline the pain points, to really get across how much of a valued addition this is going to be to their jewellery collection, right? And you can also use the photo. So I see you've got lots of angles of the item, and that's fab. I think we've covered that base really. But here's the thing. I want to be seeing, so you've got delivery. I personally wouldn't have that in there if it was me, because if you change your delivery time for whatever reason, you've then got to go through and change it. So if it was me, I would take that out. Care instructions, I would totally keep that in there, but I would probably word that in a more friendly way. I'm not saying obviously that you're not, but here's the thing. When I was talking to one of my one-to-one clients, she had a similar thing, and the problem is that it's kind of like the customer gets put off by each one of these little things. So you've got to word it in a really kind of nicer, gentler way, so that people aren't like, what, am I buying a necklace or am I entering into a car contract? So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents worth on that. But you want to be filling the image slots with pictures that are going to add value. So I want to be seeing you in your workspace making your jewellery. Now, not making this specific item, but just making your jewellery in general. That shows it's not overseas bought charms that you're just whacking on a chain and that's it. You know, you are actually taking the time to hand make this item. You are actually taking the time to add value. You've already got a picture of your gift box, and that's awesome. I love that. And by the way, this logo is really, really pretty, right? And I just want to be seeing, so like you could even, to add value, you could even take some screenshots of some really amazing long form reviews, and do it that way, and really just communicate the value. Again, I do go over this in the course, so I'm not going to go over it too much, but the whole idea is to, rather than try to sell this item, which obviously you are, okay, you are trying to sell this item, but really the main thing in your mind should be, I need to communicate the value of this product. Like, I need to tell my ideal client why they need this in their lives and what pain point it solves. And again, I do go over this heavily in the course. Also, just very quickly, always remember that the SEO does take between 60 to 90 days for Etsy to crawl it and for you to start being shown up for your keywords. So don't change things like once a month and wonder why it's not working. Always leave it until they expire. I'd always make sure to turn off automatic renewal so that you have the option to go through and change your listings whenever they expire for that particular reason. Now let's have a look at your photos. Now, I do understand where you're coming from with the photos because you want to get across at this like really kind of gothic dark vibe, okay? And I do completely understand that. However, the only downside I'm getting with these images is that, especially with stuff like this, and there was something that did demonstrate this point. Here we go, here. So especially with something like this is that it almost disappears within the background. So rather, what I would probably say to do is to, if it was me, I would personally go with model shots because I think that's going to get across a lot more of the item's value within the first picture. I also think that it might be worth doing a brighter background, so like a white background, but you're putting in props which introduces the gothic element to it. And here's why, okay? So I've just gone onto this shop, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, they are using pretty much the exact same product background as what you're using. The fact of it is that I would not know the difference between this shop and your shop if I was looking at your items, okay? And that's the thing, is that people want to be, number one, not only drawn into your photos, but they also need to communicate the value that this is going to have in their lives, which is where you start to think more on the lines of the product shot, of the modeled shots. And also, it's got to be different, okay? If I'm typing in snake necklace and it's coming up with things like this, is that I'm not going to know the difference between your photos and the other brand's photos. So really this is where, let me get back to your shop, here we go. So really this is where you've got to be a little bit creative with your photos. Now, I'm going to harp on about it again. I think modeled shots would be amazing for you because it would then communicate immediately how this item looks, how big it is, what kind of person is going to wear this item, what kind of value this is going to have in their lives. And also, it's going to be a little bit different because not everyone is going to be doing that, okay? Not everyone is going to be using modeled shots, as we can see with this shop here. And quite honestly, Kirsty, it didn't take me very long to find a shop like this. So I think it would be really, really worthwhile you having a little think about your photos. If I typed in gothic necklace, I mean, let's see. So you can kind of see here that there's a black background, That's a black background technically, black background, a black background, a black background, a black background, a black background. So you can kind of see the where I'm going with this, right? Is that, and see this shop here is really, really nice because yes, it's gothic and it's got a black background, but it's different because it's got the flowers in there, it's got the dark grey background in there. I mean, let's just have a look at their items. Now, I would say their backgrounds are a little bit busy, to be honest, but even like this picture here, if they were to like zoom in a little bit, it's got the packaging in the background, it's got the logo, it's got the branding, and it's just an overall more attractive picture. So I hope that makes sense for you. I'm just going to switch gears very quickly and go to your about section. Now, I would always put a video, a picture, something in there again to communicate the value. You really, 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 really don't want to skip this because this is where you have to tell your story. And again, in the course, I do go really in depth into this. So you definitely want to be looking at putting a video, maybe even a video of you just sat down saying, hey, my name's Kirsty, this is my story, blah, 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 and communicate the value that way. And I also would probably break this text up so that it's like easier to read. But your story is actually super, super important, guys. Don't ever think it's not. Don't ever think that people are not going to read it, because they do. Okay, sure, if you had a Amazon mass-produced shop, they probably wouldn't, okay? And that would be a completely different kettle of e-commerce fish, right? But the fact of it is that I 1000% would recommend putting more effort into your story. Okay, so I just want to very quickly reiterate to you, Kirsty, and everyone watching, that everything I say is out of love. I'm not meaning any harm or any malice or any meanness when I say any of this, okay, guys? So just so you're aware that I'm not saying this is, you know, that Kirsty's shop is XYZ. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you my opinion based on my years in retail and my additional years in e-commerce, okay? So, Kirsty, here's the thing, is that I would, because you're building this micro niche and because you are building something that you really want to attract a tribe around your items, okay, and around your brand. And guys, don't get it twisted, okay? The brand is where the value is. It's not necessarily, well, it's not even really your items. The brand is where the value is. Why do you think you pay so much for, like, Tiffany jewellery? Why do you think you pay so much for Clinique jewellery? Like, Tiffany jewellery, a Tiffany silver necklace for like $400 costs like $15 for them to make. Believe me, I've been in the jewellery industry for a long time. It doesn't cost them very much to make it if we're talking about like the actual scrap value of the metal, okay? The same with Pandora, the same with all the brand. The brand is where the money is. So based on this, I just want to show you this, okay? I would recommend you to start really being more creative and really getting more within your creative zone of genius to craft items that are different, to craft items that are going to attract your target market, but that also make people go, oh wow, look at that, isn't that different? Oh my goodness, where has this been my whole life? So I've just picked the fairy moon earrings as an example. And I typed in fairy moon earrings on Etsy, okay? And this is the results that I got. So I typed in fairy earrings. Oh no, it wasn't even fairy moon earrings, it was fairy earrings. So you can kind of see, right, that there is a pair basically the same as yours here. There is a pair the same as yours there. The same as, I mean, it's got the same sort of charm on the bottom there. There's a pair the same as yours there. But you know what this does is it does get across that the modelled shots are so amazing to have, because I was immediately attracted to this picture here. There's the same kind of charm there. There's the same kind of charm there, the same pair of earrings there. So I am saying this with love, Kirsty. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love your items. However, I think you are more creative than you give yourself credit for. And I really, really think that if you kind of really sat down and really got to grips with your target market, that you would be able to craft something that is a little bit different and that makes your target market stop and stare. So as an example, if I was looking for a pair of fairy earrings, I would be, I mean, I do like these, but they are pretty much all the same. So I wouldn't necessarily be attracted to that. I like them, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of the colours. But I would be looking at stuff like this. I think these are absolutely beautiful. And this would be the kind of thing that I would go for. I know it's technically a flower, but I'm attracted to that. If I typed in fairy earrings and I was looking for fairy earrings, probably at this point I would more than likely refine my search. But I do like these. I think these are really, really cute. I love the gold borders, and I think the picture is actually, yeah, you know what? These would probably be my pick, because I love the background. It's like a magical background. I love the fact that it's got a video, and that is what I was going to say to you, is that if you want to increase your conversion rate, guys, use video. I love the modelled shot. I think that's amazing. And I just think that the photos are so beautiful in this listing. Like, they are so beautiful, and it does really get the value across to the customer, right? So I just wanted to show you that there are quite a few people that are doing the same kind of thing as what you're doing. And honestly, Kirsty, you know, you've been on the lives that I've done, you know, you've been chatting away to me. I think you need to dig a little bit deeper in your creative potential. I don't think we've even scraped the surface of what you can achieve with your jewellery, okay? So I have a challenge for you. Let's sit down and let's brainstorm like 10 new product ideas using the items that you've got already to craft something special. And it could be you get a plate and you engrave a name on it. It could be that you hand stamp a name on a plate. It could be that you put a birthstone on there. It could be in some way, shape or form to make people stop and go, wow, that's really, really beautiful. But again, like with the photos here, you can see why this photo would attract people. It's just catching the essence of the type of person that's going to do this search perfectly. And the same with this picture here, is that people who are going to be looking at this item are probably going to be looking at like garden, secret garden, fairy kind of people. They like the outdoors, they like nature, they like the idea of having a secret fairy garden and all that type of thing. So you can kind of see what I mean when I say that you've got to attract your target market with the photo alone, okay? It's no good having like gothic jewellery and having a photo like this, because I don't think that people who are into like gothic jewellery is going to be attracted to this type of photo. However, if I was to type in gothic jewellery without the square in the end of it, I would be like, this would completely attract me, because I know that it's this kind of fashion that I would be after. Let's have a look. See, I've already pointed out these guys here. I would be liking a modelled shot like this as well. But you can kind of see what I mean, right? I could be doing this all day, but I won't put you through that torture. So you can kind of see, I mean, this photo is amazing. I love the green at the bottom, and I love the fact that the hand's like draping over a book. It looks really creepy and really cool. So I hope that does kind of make sense. Again, everything I say obviously is always with love. I don't ever mean it in a nasty way. It's just that I think that you have more creative potential, and I think that once you really get in there, and you know what, it's not even been you. There's been clients that I've worked with where they've started off doing one thing and then they've dug deeper and deeper and deeper into their creative potential and ended up with an amazing product that is completely different to anything else on Etsy, and that is where your sweet spot is. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't expect you to make something like reinvent the wheel every time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying create a version of something that your target market will love, photograph it in a way that will stand out in the masses of search results, and will also get across to your target market how valuable this item is, and craft a description that sells the item. So they're already, you know, and you have to think about your shopper journey, right? They do a search, they're a type of person that does a search in a certain way, they click on a listing that gets a feeling across in an emotional, value-packed way, they click on the picture, they get taken to your listing, they're almost 50% of the way there, and your listing has to get them to the next 50% to make them 100% likely to buy, to make it easy for them to slide through the Etsy search results into your listing and naturally get into that checkout and buy your item, okay? So I do hope that makes sense so far. So I think all in all, Kirsty, a good place for you to start in reality would be for you to start in the target market section of the course, because I do feel like, and it's a big section. I've got workbooks, I've got downloads, I've got everything that's going to help you find your elusive target market. And I think to start off with, it would be really, really good to work through that. And we do go through the pain point of the customer, what that is, how you solve it, how if you don't think your item does solve a pain point, how it actually does and how you can find it. and all of that kind of stuff. But Kirsty, I do think your shop is really amazing. I think that you do have really great potential. And you know, it is a good thing that you are in the course, because obviously we're going to take you all the way through to like expert level for Etsy and everything like that. Just very, very quickly, I did have a little peek at your social media. Now, I will say that this is great. 6.2k monthly views is amazing. I really like what you're doing with your Pinterest. I think this is exactly what everyone needs to be doing. They need to look at their target market and get an idea of what kind of things they like to look at on Pinterest. So if I was doing this, I would be less like you've done anatomical, that's a really hard word to say, style, tree of life, aesthetic, snake jewelry ideas. So you've created boards that's not just got your items in, it's like sell, sell, sell. You've created boards that your target market are going to love and they're going to get into and have a look at. And that's really, really good. I think do more of this. Do more and more of this. I pin about 25 to 35 times a day on different boards. And if you have a look at my Pinterest videos on my channel, you'll see that I've got like 85 boards with like 300 pins in each or something ridiculous. So what I would say is to do more of this and get more into it. So for example, you've got pagan wedding ideas. Why not get more into that? Pagan makeup wedding pagan wedding makeup ideas, pagan wedding hairstyle ideas. You could do, I mean, tattoos for you will be a big one. So you could do small tattoos, large tattoos, entire back tattoos, neck tattoos, face tattoos, and incorporate jewelry that makes sense. That's a big, big thing. Makes sense into these boards. But I think you're doing a really good job. If I go into anatomical style, so you can see that there's like all sorts of really cool stuff. And then you've put your jewelry in there, I think you've put your jewelry in there, or have you put other people's jewelry in there? So you've got your jewelry in there. I would, if it was me, take out other people's jewelry, because you are trying to promote your own. So don't do other people's work for you. I would 100% recommend taking like other people's jewelry out. But anyway, that's just something you can do, you know, when and where, right? Let's go on to Halloween. Let's see what you're doing. Oh, this is so cool. See, I would rename this Halloween DIY crafts, because a lot of people, you know, that keyword is really, really good. DIY Halloween crafts, because people go onto Pinterest to look for DIY stuff, right? And then what I would do is that I would start to scatter, like, within this Halloween jewelry, okay? And just very, very quickly, just going on to the keyword side of things, and Halloween is going to be a big, big holiday for you, I would imagine, Kirsty. So you need to be changing your SEO like 90 days at least before Halloween. So like pretty much I would do it like the middle of the summer and start to put in Halloween keywords and stuff like that. Your Instagram, why did I not think of the word then? Your Instagram. Now, I do like the fact that you are doing this, that you are posting your items to Instagram. The only thing that I would say is that people do tend to see these pictures are really, really lovely. People do tend to come to Instagram to get more behind the scenes and to connect with you and your brand more. And I'm seeing that the last sort of, let's just go back to this picture. The last sort of couple of months or so, you've been really just posting your products. And I would kind of start to post other things that your target market would love. You could host a competition. You could, when you send an item out, you could say, tag me wearing your item on Instagram for a chance to be reposted and to win a pair of earrings or something like that. You want to start really getting to grips that you are promoting behind the scenes and stuff like that. That's pretty much my 2 cents worth. So you've got to look at the kind of strategy that you're implementing on Pinterest and almost do the same thing on Instagram, right? Now, very quickly, are you using Etsy updates? No, you're not. So you have got 94 people who have, and I'm going to do it too now, there we go, 95 people who have favorited your shop, okay? So what you want to be doing is you want to be using Etsy updates. Not a lot of people know about Etsy updates, and they are something that people need to be using. They're like a social network for people who have favorited your shop. And any Etsy updates will come up on their home feed because they have favorited your shop. So here's the thing, right, is that you tend to have something that's in the biz that's called cold leads and warm leads, okay? Cold leads are people who come in through your Facebook page. They are on platforms that they are not there to purchase, if that makes sense, right? So really what you want to be doing is you really want to be thinking about your shopper journey and where your quote unquote leads come into. And this is a source of warm leads because they have found you on Etsy, they know how Etsy works, they love handmade goods, they favorited your shop. And what are you doing with them? You're not really doing a lot with them. So use Etsy updates, which can be found in the marketing section of the Etsy app, to post updates. And it could even be something as simple as posting the same updates that you put on Instagram through Etsy updates. It is seriously something that not a lot of people know about, not a lot of people utilize, but they do work, because also what you can do is that you can tag a listing in the Etsy updates. So Kirsty, I think I've probably given you enough to work on, bless you. Obviously you are in the course and you can definitely go through, and the course will get you from where you are now to where you want to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm just here to like give you a little bit of insight into my personal look upon your shop. But I'm so glad that you've hit 100 sales. That's so good. Well done, Kirsty. I'm really excited to see where your shop goes. I'd love for you to post some updates in the Facebook group. And guys, if you're watching and you're not in the Facebook group, 100,000% recommend joining, because I do go live in there every week and we have a little chit chat about handmade business and business in general and everything like that. And it's just awesome to get the support that you need. So yeah, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this and I hope that you've learned lots, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye everyone.